We're gonna slide a block right underneath our sacrum. So the back of the pelvis, and we want to feel the skull on the ground, the shoulder blades, and then sacrum on the block, knees bent. We're going to start with just hip flexion. So we want to hold that pelvis really balanced on the block and just pick up 1 foot at a time. Remember, it doesn't have to go high. We want to make sure as we pick up 1 foot, we don't rock to the side of the pelvis. So we are already starting to engage the deep core. We can add on, of course, by adding that resistance. Either hand to the thigh, we resist that hip flexion like we're trying to push the thigh away, but we don't want to let it move. So getting the hip flexors to work a little bit harder. We can add on again, whatever foot's still on the ground. Maybe we add a heel lift. So just bringing more muscle activation in, more challenge to the stability of the pelvis. Couple more times, holding that feeling of your 2 pelvic points drawing in. All right, let's bring the feet down. Use your glutes to lift off the block. Lower the rest of the way down. Now the block's going to come between our knees or our thighs, giving it a gentle hug. And we'll push down into the feet. Maybe hands come to the front ribs so they don't thrust up as we lift the hips. Again, let's feel our 2 pelvic points tighten in. Now you can hold here in your bridge, of course. You can pulse the hips up and down. Keeping that low back long, using the glutes and the hamstrings. Next option, if you want, lift the toes and really dig the heels down so we're in that ankle dorsiflexion. You can be still here or add that pulse of the hips with the toes lifted. Lots of options. Do whatever feels right today. Gently hugging in on the block between the knees or thighs. Keeping the ribs from thrusting up toward the ceiling. Now let's bring the feet all the way down, stay in your bridge, and we'll stretch out the right wrist. Breathing into the ribs, front, side, and back. Switch hands, stretch out that left wrist. Stay long in your low back. Hands will come down, and we'll slowly tiptoe the spine down. Good, take the block out. We're gonna make our way into quadruped. Coming onto hands and knees. We're gonna try to do this with the toes tucked, but if that feels like too much on the plantar fascia at the bottom of the feet, you can of course untuck them, but try for tucked. And we're gonna work on just a rock back. So rocking the butt toward the heels and then rocking forward. So as we rock back, we're getting a stretch through the toes, the bottom of the foot. If that sensation is too much, of course, untuck the toes. Another option we have is to make it more like a crouch. You can hover the knees and then add that rock back. So that gets more into that ankle dorsiflexion, and we're still getting that toe extension or toe stretch. Definitely getting more into the core and the shoulders as well. So whatever option feels right. Good, lower the knees in your quadruped. We're gonna swivel into a side sit. So lower onto your outer left hip. You could be in a side sit on your left hand, or you can lower onto your left forearm so it's parallel to the front of the mat. I always like to have a block between my knees here, but that's just optional. It helps me get a little more engagement for the inner thighs. We're gonna exhale, squeeze. Push down to lift the outer left hip, any amount, straight up. And then straight down, land softly. Exhale, squeeze the block if you've got it. Push down to lift. And lower. You're gonna keep going any pace. We'll be doing this in the flow. So remember, you could be on your hand or your forearm. Both options are great for getting this whole left side of the core working. All right, make your way back to quadruped, take the block out, and we'll switch sides. We're gonna come onto the right outer hip. This time I'll show it with just the hand instead of the forearm. Take your block between the knees. Nice long spine, neutral pelvis. Exhale, push down to lift. Land softly. Exhale, push down to lift the outer right hip. And land softly. If you're using that block between the knees, give it that little hug as you exhale and lift. So we have more support from the inner thigh muscles to help us lift. Pelvis stays neutral. Couple more. Any pace, working the whole right side from hip to shoulder. Let's come back to quadruped. You can take some cat-cow here to just move the spine. Let's head to down dog. Press into the fingers, tuck the toes, thigh bones lift straight up, and we keep the head a little bit in front of the arms so that it's not pushing through the shoulders. Lift the ribs up toward the body. Let's pedal the feet out. Really bending one knee so we can stretch the other heel toward the ground without the back arching or the pelvis tipping. Walk your hands back towards your feet for happy squat. Land the heels as soon as you can. Belly toward the thighs, so we're in that triple flexion. Can you lower the hips down a touch more, keeping the belly toward the thighs? And then straighten by lifting the hips. So we're gonna pulse here, down and up with the hips, trying to keep the belly on or as close to the thighs as we can. So that's that triple flexion of the ankles, knees, and hips we need to get up and down from the ground. Bend your knees, let's rise up. We will tiptoe walk forward. So try to lift your heels. Walk on the balls of your feet all the way to the front of the mat. And when you get there, we'll just land the heels and we're gonna start our sequence. Reach the arms forward and up. Shoulder blades lift. Hinge forward, same feeling, belly toward thighs. Right foot steps back. Lower the knee, but not the toes. We keep the toes tucked. Let's rise up into our 90-90. Right glute firm, imaginary broom behind our back. We're gonna keep the hands on this left thigh, but I want you to keep the chest open. So don't let those shoulders round forward. We'll inhale, hinge. Exhale, you can push into that left foot, push into the left thigh, rise back up, right glute firm. Inhale, hinge without the shoulders rounding forward. Exhale, push down to rise up. Keep going at your own pace. Let's make sure that we're not rounding the upper back, squishing those collarbones, but they stay nice and broad as we hinge forward. Imaginary broom behind your back. We're heading into a three-legged quadruped, so our hands are going to come down. You can slide that right knee in a touch more. Left toes back, and let's pause here. Zipper the pubic bone up to the belly. Neutral spine. Right hip is going to stay over that right knee as we float the left toes. We're going to do some push-ups here, but again, think about the chest staying open, elbows bend straight back so we don't let those shoulders roll forward, and then push into the fingers to straighten. Tiny elbow bend back without rounding the shoulders or the upper back, and straighten. So really focusing on the triceps. Keeping the spine long, don't let the back arch or round. Hold that right hip still, nice and stable over that right knee. Come to quadruped. Tuck the toes. We're going to exhale, hover the knees, and swivel them side to side. So we exhale, hover the knees. Knees swivel right and left. And then tap the knees. Inhale. Exhale, hover. Swivel the knees either way first, left or right. Tap down. Exhale, hover. Swivel the knees. And keep going at your own pace. Really working the deep core, working the shoulders. Now next time we swivel, you're going to swivel your knees to the right, land on that outer left hip. We're in that side sit position. You can grab your block, place it between your knees. Exhale, push down to lift, side bridge, and land softly. Exhale, hug the block and lift. Land softly. Any pace you want to do these side bridges. Working that whole left side. Let's come back to quadruped, take the block out, and do those rock backs. Try to tuck the toes under, hips rock back, any amount toward the heels, and we rock forward. Getting that stretch for the toes, that stretch for the plantar fascia at the bottom of the feet. If you want to amp this up, of course, make it more of that crouch where you're hovering the knees and rocking back. Your choice. Heading to down dog. Lift the hips up. Really pike that pelvis up in that deep hip flexion. Lift the front ribs. And we'll again stretch the calves, lowering one heel toward the ground without that changing the pelvis or the spine. Walk back into happy squat. Land the heels as soon as you can. Belly to thighs. We were just here in that triple flexion. Rise up. And again, we'll tiptoe walk forward. Lift the heels. Tiptoe walk forward. When you get to the front of the mat, you're going to grab your block. Place it between your ankles. So you want to feel those ankle joints or inner ankles kind of hug in on the block for some hip hinges. So we inhale, hinge forward like a broom is taped behind us as far as you can go. Exhale, hug the block, push into the feet, rise up. Inhale, hinge without rounding or arching. Exhale, rise up. Keep going, any pace. Working that triple flexion, ankles, knees, and hips. Getting as low as we can to the ground without using our backs to get there. All right, you can take the block out, put it aside, and we'll do that sequence on the second side. Reach the arms up. Shoulder blades lift. Hinge forward, just like we practiced. Left foot back, lower the knee but not the toes. We rise up, active 90-90, ears over the shoulders, ribs over the pelvis, hands to the right thigh. Hinge forward, keeping the chest open. Push into the thigh and the foot, rise up. Inhale forward, chest stays open. Exhale, push into that front foot, lift up. Firm that left glute. Keep moving any pace. So we're really sending this right hip back as we hinge, lengthening the right glute. Make sure we're not rounding the upper back or rolling those shoulders forward. Heading into three-legged quadruped. Hands come down. Maybe we slide that left knee in a touch more. Right toes back. Zipper up. Keep the chest open as we float the right toes. Left hip stays stable as we bend the elbows, push up. Push into the fingers to straighten. Bend the elbows without rounding the shoulders or the back. Straighten. So it could be a tiny little push-up. It doesn't have to be a big movement. We want to focus on the chest staying open. Collarbones staying broad. Back to quadruped. Let's do those hovers with a swivel. Tuck the toes. Exhale, hover the knees. Swivel the knees side to side. Land quietly. Inhale. Exhale, hover. Swivel the knees side to side. And tap down. Keep the hover lower. It's actually harder to keep the knees lower, just hovering right off the ground. We've really got to use the deep core to get that swivel. Next time you swivel, knees to the left, we land on that outer right hip, side sit or side bridge. Stay on that right hand. Maybe the block comes between the thighs. Push down, exhale, lift up. Inhale, land softly. Exhale, push to lift. Land softly, moving at your own pace, working this whole right side. Strengthening those low to the ground movements so we can get up and down. Back to quadruped. Toes tuck under. Rock back with or without a hover. So it could be more like a crouch. You could do this with the knees down, getting that stretch at the bottom of the feet and the toes. Head to down dog. Almost off the hands. Hike the pelvis up. Lift the rib cage. Walk the hands back to the feet. Land the heels. Happy squat, belly to thighs. Rise up. We'll lift the heels. Tiptoe walk forward. Once you get to the front of the mat, grab your block. Place it between the ankles. Give it a little hug, a gentle squeeze, and we'll work on our hip hinges as if we had a broom taped behind us. Hips back, chest forward, but it stays open. And then we push into the ground, rise up. Inhale, hinge. Exhale, rise up. Any pace, keeping that hug on the block. Working that hip hinge or hip flexion, getting as low to the ground as we can without rounding the back or arching the back. Okay, we're going to take the block out and do our stream. So we're going to add on a little bit of challenge. Reach the arms up, shoulder blades lift. Hinge forward just like that hip hinge we did. Right foot back, lower the knee but not the toes. Rise up, neutral spine, arms up, chest stays open, same hip hinge, torso toward that left thigh. We just don't have hands to support us. Push into that left foot, rise up. Right glute's got a little squeeze. Inhale, hinge. Left hip sends back. Push into the left foot, rise up. Keep going at your own pace. Collarbones stay broad. Okay, we're heading to modified side plank this time. Right hand down, right knee slides in under the hip, and we step left foot back. We're going to combine a bunch of those movements together and keep flowing back and forth. So you could have left foot on the ground or off the ground. Modified side plank. Come to quadruped. Tuck the toes, exhale, hover the knees. Swivel them to the right, so we land on the outer left hip. Now we lower to that left forearm, forearm side bridge. Push down to lift. Land. Right hand comes back under, we swivel back to quadruped. Stay on that right hand, right knee, left foot back. Modified side plank, foot on or off the ground. Quadruped. Exhale, tuck the toes and hover. Knees swivel right. We land on that left hip. Forearm side bridge. Lower to the left forearm. Push down to lift. Land. Back to quadruped. Use the deep core to swivel back to quadruped. And we're going to keep going. Modified side plank. Quadruped swivel. Left forearm side bridge. Move at your own pace. We're working on getting low to the ground, using our core, using our hips. When you come back to quadruped, we'll stay there. Tuck the toes, lift up, down dog. This is different. We're going to walk the hands back toward the feet, happy squat. Rise up, lift the heels, land the heels, hinge forward, walk back out to quadruped. Land the knees. Exhale, lift up, down dog. Walk the hands back toward the feet, happy squat. Press into the ground, lift the heels, and we'll tiptoe walk forward. Okay, second side. Let's reach the arms up. Hinge forward. Left foot back. Land the knee, not the toes. Rise up, neutral spine, left glute firm, arms up. Hinge without rounding. Send that right hip back, torso toward the right thigh. Exhale up. Inhale, hinge forward, chest stays open. Exhale up. Do your best to not drop the head down or round the upper back. Move with your breath. Imaginary broom behind you. Left hand down, modified side plank. Let's go to that movement combo. Left knee slides in, right foot back. You could have right foot on or off the ground. Find your alignment for modified side plank. Quadruped. Tuck the toes. Exhale, hover the knees. Swivel left. Land on the outer right hip. Lower to that right forearm. One side bridge. Push down to lift. Back to quadruped. Use the swivel. Modified side plank. Right foot back. On or off the ground. Quadruped. Tuck the toes. Exhale. Swivel knees left. Land on the outer right hip. Come to your forearm. One side bridge. Push down to lift. Unwind. Keep going at your own pace. So we go from our modified side plank to our quadruped swivel to our right forearm side bridge. Lots of core work, especially through these transitions. Working on getting low to the ground and back up. Pause in your quadruped. Once you get there, we'll tuck the toes, lift up for down dog. Deep hip flexion, belly to thighs without arching the back. Walk the hands back, happy squat. Rise up. Lift the heels. Lower the heels. Hinge forward, hip hinge. Walk it back out to quadruped. Land the knees. Tuck the toes, lift back to down dog. Walk the hands back toward the feet. Rise up. Lift the heels. And then walk forward. We're going to add on a tiny bit more on this side. Once you come to the front of the mat, bend the knees, keep those heels down, and we walk back toe, ball, heel, stretch the heel down. Toe, ball, heel into that ankle dorsiflexion. Once you get to the front or the back, we're going to lift the heels, walk forward again. One more time through. Fire walks back. We do toe, ball, heel, stretching the back of the ankle, the Achilles tendon into that dorsiflexion. Lift the heels, walk forward. All right, when you get to the front, let's head to quadruped. You can cat-cow. You can belly roll. You can take a child's pose. Anything that feels good. When you're ready, come onto your back. And you can have the block under the head or under the sacrum. We're going to come into a figure four. If you want to be flat on your back, that's totally fine. Feeling for that triple S. The skull and the shoulder blades are on the ground. Sacrum is maybe on a block. We're going to pick up that right foot. Cross it over the left knee or left thigh for figure four. Now you can stay here. You can add a little rock side to side for the pelvis, rocking to the right side and left side. If it feels good to pick up your left foot to deepen that right hip stretch, you can roll or circle this left ankle. Slowing the breath down. Go ahead and release it down. Left foot crosses over for figure four. Stay here and maybe rock side to side on the pelvis. You can pick up your right foot if that feels good. And you can roll or circle this right ankle. Slowing the breath down. Go ahead and release it down out of your stretch. You can stay on the block or slide it aside, hugging the knees in. You can take a little rock side to side or up and down. You could even take a happy baby if that feels like a nice stretch. You're welcome to end on your back or in a seated position of some kind. Closing your eyes. Relaxing your forehead. Relaxing your jaw. Taking a few more deep breaths here. When you're ready to finish up your practice, send one grateful thought out into the universe.